Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality of the best fair, and welcome to Live and Wired, episode 15. What is going on? And joining as always, we have that long-haired, creepy guy.
Who has not cut his hair, just has it in a ponytail. Hello.
Yes, you gotta get that out of the way first. And back from their trials across the sands of Egypt, our savior, Patricia.
Hey, everybody. Thank you.
There's someone here.
Although I did cut mine, though. So I actually did cut my hair. So wanted to make a new start. So yeah, I know it's blasphemy. Wanted to make a new start now that I have finally moved over to a different state. So fresh start. So yeah, I take it that everybody's doing well tonight. From what I've been hearing from Decker and Creepy last time, that the only show that I wasn't here, it was a train wreck. So hopefully I'm back to help keep things stable. But nonetheless, I am glad to be back.
So yeah, getting questions. Dudley Dawson's asking me, where's the Halloween 2 review?
I mean, it's coming soon, guys. Don't you worry. It's coming
soon. It's been, oh god. I mean, beyond just the 4th, I might have had a little bit to drink. Sorry. Is the 4th. It happens once a year. You like to celebrate these things. Like, I'm free to do what I want. That was a bad idea, But
I didn't hear from Decker all day on the 4th, just so all of you know. So that should give you some idea. Actually, I take that back. He sent me a text bragging about how many subscribers
that was on the 2nd.
That was on the 2nd?
I believe that was on the 2nd. I could check. I guess I got it open here.
We have a comment from Zombie Jaeger 16. Are we going to get a 100K special?
That was on Monday, so yeah, that was the 2nd.
Oh, okay. So you were right. Oh, my bad.
And I don't know about doing a 100K special. I wasn't. I mean, by the time I'd get around to it, it'd be a little past that. But at the same time, it's not like it's going to go too far past 100K by the time I get to it. So, but
anyway, people have been sending. Speaking of, okay, people have been sending me, like, specifically, I don't know if they think that I'm just the Decker whisperer. Like, they obviously haven't been watching the show, so they don't know that's actually more Patricia's territory than mine. But, like, people have been sending responses to me demanding that we do a crossover. Like just flat out saying, do a crossover.
I have not received anything like that, at least for a while.
Yeah. Well, they've been sending it to me.
She's just the worker of the three of us.
Yeah.
She's the one that makes sure everything is working right, everything gets done, everything is on schedule. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm just drinking on the 4th, and Creepy's accepting my fan mail.
Yeah, apparently they've been sending
we got 1,000 huffs.
Yeah, we got 1,000 huffs and puffs from Regon, who says, has anyone considered Decker to be that long-haired creepy guy with the best hair?
that hurts. the 1,000 huffs makes it feel a little better, but that hurts.
And if you can't hear what's going on in the background, it's raining here. So I'm sorry if you guys hear like rumblings and crackling in the background. And also there might be a slight chance that I could be cut out at any moment.
I had that happen to me last night, and it was raining here earlier, but it's not anymore. And but I do get where you're coming from. So far, I don't hear anything. At least on my end, I don't hear any like.
And there's dogs.
Okay, I hear the dogs now.
Yeah.
I don't hear the thunder or the rain, but I do hear the dogs.
That's the joys of living in a rural area.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots and lots of animals, and they're all very loud.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how loud cows moo? Like during Harvey last year, when I was up in away from the completely stricken areas, I had to get out of there for a while, and I was in a very, very rural part of Texas, and there was just cows, and that's just every morning it would just be like, moo. It'd be like they're in the room, but they're actually like a good 80 feet away behind the fence over there. But it's just
It's one of those things you don't think about, but yeah, cows can move surprisingly loud. Yeah, I actually have had that happen to me before. I'm like, I'm imagining Decker while that's happening, having a dream where he's stuck in the secret cow level of Diablo.
Eddie Herta is asking, is a Sonic movie live action? Please tell me no. And Brandon Kilgore said, hey, isn't Jim Carrey all into conspiracy theories about Hollywood now?
Yeah, I guess that because people are bringing this up, I guess that's going to probably be our first discussion for tonight.
That and it was worked into the title card, which if you follow on Twitter or Facebook, you've seen by now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have actually seen it, and I still can't even believe it myself. So why don't we get started? So
one reason why not is because Toxinam, I can read. They just dropped the $10 super chat saying, you have no idea how excited I am for the Rob Zombie remake reviews. I'm excited for February as well. So yeah.
Okay. All right, so who wants to read this amazing report of Jim Carrey going to be playing as Dr. Eggman Robotnik, whatever. I don't care what his name is anymore. They change it all the time anyway.
Wasn't Dr. Ivo Robotnik the father of Eggman? I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, so who wants to read this?
Also, okay, we're on the air. I'm aware of that, and this is really immature of me. Maybe it's just the way he's drawn in this particular sketch, but there is something really wrong.
That is the Robotnik from the Sonic Sad AM cartoon.
Okay,
yeah, but I think it also looks kind of like fan fiction of that Robotnik.
Because I'm looking at his head.
I mean fan art.
I just need to know: am looking at his head? Am I the only one seeing what I'm seeing?
No.
Oh.
No. Shame on you.
Anyway.
Anyway, so I guess I might as well read it. So, yes, Jim Carrey to play Sonic the Hedgehog villain Robotnik. Here's an intriguing combination, Jim Carrey and Sonic the Hedgehog. Sources say Carrey is negotiating to star in the Paramount film in the role of Robotnik, a villain in the live-action / CGI adaptation of the hit Sega video game. Pick stars James Marsden and Tika Sumpter, and is directed by Jeff Fowler. Neil Moritz, Mai Onishi, and Tim Miller are producers. Pat Casey and Josh Miller wrote the script. Sonic must stop Dr. Eggman
from giving it a lot of credit.
Yes. Sonic must stop Dr. Eggman from completing his plans for world domination is basically the gist of this one.
Did they read the other articles about this one? Because that's not the gist.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Sonic the Hedgehog has spanned several iterations from Sega consoles in the 90s to mobile fan and absorption into the Nintendo Mario Brothers video game universe. And it talks about like all the other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Jim Carrey, who spends a lot of time now painting and sketching, last starred in Dark Crimes and Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, and has been executive producing the Showtime series I'm Dying Up Here. And he's executive producing and starring in Showtime's Kidding, which premieres in September. So yes, while Jim Carrey is, doing a bit of acting here and there, but he mostly does painting. So yeah, the fact that he's doing that is just incredible. It's just like, it's an amazing thing.
I'm having a little bit of a Twilight Zone reaction to this.
Rygon dropped another 1,000 huffs. Says, at creepy, is it the porn stash? It's always the porn stash.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Patricia has abandoned us, and now I am left to deal with Decker solo yet again. So this will be kind of like a synopsis of the last 2 hours of the show 2 weeks ago.
Well, let's just talk about the Sonic thing. Again, why? I mean, the first time the article came up, I was just looking like this can't be real. This cannot be true. No one in their right minds would do something like this. And I couldn't find anything to actually say that, oh yeah, this is a parody site. This is not a real. This article got sourced back to something we found on the Onion. I couldn't find anything like that. So I was like, but then more news came out on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I was on my Twitter where I said, what is it exactly about this that the Sonic the Hedgehog movie? The whole way it just seems like every bad idea you could think of for making a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, like the worst possible kinds of inspiration. And then I thought, what could be the idea? Why would you do something like that? And the only thing I could think of at the time that actually does make sense and kind of all comes together in my brain is, what if this Sonic the Hedgehog movie is actually trying to be like the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I mean, if that were to be the case, then this movie would have been done 25 years ago. Maybe this movie was in developmental hell, and then they pitched it to, Sega of Japan, and they were like, nope. And then they did the animated movie instead.
Well, the animated movie wasn't exactly that much to do with the games either.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, I guess for them, it's like pick your poison.
She has a point there. But yeah, this whole thing just reads like some kind of bizarre Twilight Zone thing.
Yeah.
I look at this and I'm thinking, like, I'm kind of like with Decker. This does feel like it feels like an Onion article, even though we know by now it isn't. It feels like an article by the Onion. It's just, we're all still waiting, hoping, praying for the turnaround where we'll hear, "You've been punked," or "You're on candid camera."
Black Banner here saying, can we talk about the strange choice of casting for Jim Carrey as Robotnik?
I mean, it could have happened in the 90s. Think about it.
Yeah. I mean,
Jim Carrey was in everything. He was in Ace Ventura. He was in Batman Forever.
He was in The Mask. He was in that little known movie. What is it? The Man in the Moon, or
The Man in the Moon. Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
I mean, he did try to do like some serious roles for a while, but those weren't exactly a lot of people like big hits. So
right, he went through that phase that comedian actors inevitably go through, where they all try to prove they're serious, and they do these really, really melodramatic or really, really depressing roles or whatever. Even Robin Williams, when he was alive, he went through that at one point. He even went through a point where he was trying to sell himself as a horror villain.
Patrick Johnson says, I think it's fitting. Neither have been relevant since the 90s.
I mean, Sonic Mania did kickstart the Sonic fandom back, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's, for the most part, you have a point. Harry Flynn says, Decker Shado, my birthday is this Friday. Can I get a shout out, please? I'm turning 20.
No, can't drink yet. No shout out. What's the name?
Harry Flynn.
Harry Flynn, hello and happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Friday, next, so that's the 12th, yes.
Yes.
No, the 13th. Okay. I can count. Friday 13th, awesome.
Yes.
Birthday on Friday the 13th. Now, I can brain.
Philip Marlowe says, John Goodman is a good fit for Robotnik. That's actually pretty, that would be really cool. What would John Goodman be like if he was Robotnik?
Ooh. I could imagine evil John Goodman.
I mean, he has done villain characters before.
Wilford Brimley.
Ooh, Wilford Brimley would be good. Yeah.
He's still kicking. Last I checked.
That's true.
True.
But yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, the more that we hear about this Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the more we're thinking about, like, man, just.
Yeah.
I mean, trust me. I mean, this was going to be like the major highlight of like the most absurd video game news, because I was really, really close into discussing about the Shaq Fu Beat 'em Up DLC, but even that is just like too ridiculous that I didn't want to do that.
Main Black Banner says, well, if you've seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, John Goodman can be terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned before, he definitely can do really menacing roles. $5 from the Terror of Death, who says, yay, Patricia's back. Also, I'm going to a convention on Thursday. Awesome. Good job.
I
hope you have a good time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm not gonna put up the article because I mean I just want you to like listen to what I'm saying when it comes to like the Shaq Fu DLC if you guys didn't know about it. So here's the thing. So the Shaq Fu DLC is gonna have a playable character that you would never expect in a million years to be featured in. You're gonna play as Barack Obama.
Oh boy.
Yes. And the name is just glorious. It is just wow. I'm not even joking. The name is because they couldn't use Barack Obama's name into the DLC because probably, he would have probably taken it down for legal issues, but the name is Barack Fu: The Adventures of Dirty Barry.
Oh brother.
It's amazing. I haven't seen gameplay of it, but I think it is DLC for the Shaq Fu beat 'em up game, and you can be able to do various attacks like the Peace Prize clearing segment, and also you get to fight off against bosses such as Marine Le Pig, who is a former French president, and Kanye, which is based off of Kanye West. Yes.
Yeah, but before we get off the subject of Sonic the Hedgehog, that was actually the theme of the poll, so I guess I could actually mention that already.
Yes.
I have the lovely live and wired Twitter poll. It's going to be going up in just a second here. Who should play as Miles Tails Prower in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie? We got 4 options here. Tom Holland. Those out there might remember him as Spider-Man in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, if we're going to just go all out and say, okay, this is just the Super Mario Brothers movie except with Sonic, Kevin Hart.
Yes, I want that in my life.
I want Kevin Hart as Tails.
Yes.
Third option.
That would be amazing.
Do it for the memes. We got Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, no.
And last and least, Jacob Tremblay. The little kid in The Predator, him.
Yes, that kid.
So, Twitter @DeckerShadow. The poll is going live now. You have 30 minutes and go.
Choose wisely.
Okay, Patricia, I'll be sending you this here. Oh, there we go.
Thank you. And as always, I'll be posting it in the chat, so have fun. Awesome. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what the results are going to be for this one. All right, there you go, guys.
Have fun, go nuts.
Wow, yes. According to YouTube, this live stream is actually still monetized.
Oh, cool. Neat.
I'm not used to that. I'm used to it just turning yellow as soon as we go live.
I don't remember that ever happening before, like at all.
I think this is the first time that the show's actually been monetized while we've been doing it.
Yes.
Like there was one time where it was demonetized before we ever even went
most
live.
Most of the time it's demonetized before we go live.
Right. But let me think. Oh yeah, I remember there was something I, if no one minds, I would like the honor of bringing up next and choosing the topic. And I think both of you, or at least Patricia here, knows why.
Yes, I know exactly what it is. Do not say any more.
Yeah, go ahead and bring up the link.
Way ahead of you, Creepy. Way ahead of you.
Yes.
Here you go.
Everyone, cover your ears. I am going to handle this calmly and with quiet restraint. Yes! I've been holding that in for several weeks now. A Daria revival is coming to MTV. Also, perfect image to pick from that show. Daria is returning to MTV. According to Variety, the network has launched a new production unit called MTV Studios, and in addition to revivals of Aeon Flux, The Real World, and Made, there's going to be an animated real. Never mind, we don't care. The animated series Daria is getting a revival of its own with some help from Broad City inside Amy Schumer and the unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt's writer Grace Edwards. Tentatively titled Daria and Jody, the revival will focus on Daria Morgendorffer and Jody Landon. These two smart young women take on the world with their signature satirical voice while deconstructing popular culture, social classes, gender, and race. The original series ran on MTV from 1997 to 2002. A premiere date for the revival has not yet been revealed. Damn it!
Oh, well. But hey, we're getting it, you know? That is the good news.
Whew. And Jay Fernstein,
Whatever.
says, wasn't there enough meh in the 90s?
Blasphemer!
Satoshi Katsumoto says, as Daria, yeah, I'm back, I guess.
Excellent, and you are correct. Also, I think my shouting drove Patricia away. I'm terribly sorry. I'll take credit for that one.
Whew. Ninja Assassin 714 says, "Where is the Halloween review?" That one's up. That's the one that's up.
The first one is up. It's the second one that everyone is wondering about.
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. Oh yes. So, yeah, I never really watched Daria too much.
Shame.
Well, it's a spinoff of the Beavis and the Butthead, and I was into the Beavis and the Butthead, so I wasn't really into the Daria. Diarrhea.
Again, blasphemer. Uncultured swine.
Okay, where is it? Cautiously optimistic, says Philip Marlowe. I feel like Daria was a zeitgeist of a few decades ago, like reviving Leave It to Beaver. Ooh.
Yeah, but Daria actually had a plot and acting and story. Leave It to Beaver had the beaver.
Nathan S is asking, what do you think of the new Predator film coming? And we covered that a bit before when the first trailer dropped. Well, actually, before the first trailer dropped, when the preview trailers dropped for the press, and one article talked about how amazing it looked, and like every single other one was like, what the fuck was that? And then the trailer dropped for the rest of the world, and everyone's like, what the fuck was that? And now a new trailer dropped last week. And I tried to do a little cut of it here that I was going to show everyone, but for some reason, on neither my or Patricia's screen share is actually giving sound this time.
Oh, really? Not bummer. Yeah. Anyway, if we're
sorry,
still
my
talking
screaming drove you away, Patricia. I apologize.
No, you're fine. It wasn't that. It was something else. Anyways, it's kind of interesting that they are bringing Daria back, because a few years ago they brought back Beavis and Butthead, and a lot of people really liked it. They said it was just as good as the original, but because MTV were changing directions, and because of the quote unquote low ratings, they decided to cancel it, which is a shame, to be quite honest. But I'm hoping that Daria gets a better treatment this time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm actually interested about what. Yeah. Anyway, Creepy, do you remember when when Daria was celebrating his 20th anniversary last year, and the creators were actually drawing what the characters of Daria would look like?
I do. I definitely remember that.
Do you think that they'll keep to those same designs, or do you think that it's just going to pick up right after where the series left off?
I think it'll probably pick up, later. I honestly don't know how they're going to handle this. It does talk about Jody and Daria in the adult world, so I'm going to assume that they're not going to show the characters in college, although that was a very popular topic of discussion among the fandom for a very long time. Like all through the 2000s, there was, you'd find discussions in forum threads and on message boards and chat rooms concerning the Daria TV series. You would find people, batting ideas back and forth about, hey, what would, the characters be like in college? Would they respond that differently to a college environment than compared to high school? And, but I don't. I will say I don't think that is the direction that they'll go. As far as the character designs that they used, I don't think so.
Okay,
I would
that's
don't get
fair.
me. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. Although I
For
will
those who
say
are
I would not
wondering,
mind.
I'm just going to put up the pictures of what they look like according to what the creators say. So I'll do that now while you keep talking.
Right. But I don't mind the designs. It's not that I dislike it. It's just that I don't think they'll be using these exact ones. But I did love the way Trent was designed, by the way. Just throwing that out there since that's up. And I had to laugh really hard when I got to Quinn's future when they talked about how she had triplets and was running her own YouTube channel.
That was one of my favorites.
That was one of my favorites too.
There it is, right there.
Yep, there it is. Yep. But I will say that I am excited, tentatively, but I am excited about this, and I'm really, really hoping it'll be good. But I will always have the original series.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and by the way, a great segue because Kay's World says the day they make a Tetris movie will be the day I jump off a skyscraper. Do not bet on that because I'm afraid that you're not going to be really happy about that Kay's World. Or Kay's World. Because, oh boy.
The Terror of Death just dropped a $5 super chat saying, "Damn creepy, you sounded like me when I caught wind when I heard that Young Justice Season 3 or KND Galactic."
Yeah, we'll talk about Young Justice, don't you worry. So
yeah, that's coming up. That's another thing to be excited for me to be excited about. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so not only are we getting one movie, we're getting 3. Yes, Tetris Trilogy as story too big to fit into single film. Yes. We're getting 3 movies based off of Tetris.
They don't think much of us, do they?
No, they don't. All right.
I mean, that's what I'm getting from that statement is, wow, you don't think much of us, Alec, at all.
I'm hoping that it's in, like, IMAX. I want to get all the Tetrino I can.
Yes, I want it to be 4D. I want to have motions in my seats. And every time that a Tetris block falls and the Tetris thing goes off, I want there to be, like, this huge set of lights and explosions.
So what is this going to be? 3 movies that are each 2 hours long, so a grand total of 6 hours of blocks falling?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, really, really think about what they're saying here. That was too much material. Blocks falling and then disappearing was too much material to fit into one 2-hour film, to fit into 1 hour and a half film. That's where they went with this.
Yes, I know. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, if they were to, do a movie based off of...
Eddie Herder says that part 2 ends with a piece not fitting.
Yes. Now, if they were to do a movie based off of Alexei Pavanov, the guy who created Tetris, then that would be a great movie or documentary because it's actually a really interesting story about how, he was working for the Soviet, game company and how he didn't get any compensation or money for it. And he wouldn't do so until he left, toward the United States. And then they did the Tetris company. So, yeah. But yes, I mean, who would have thought that, I don't think that it's even going to be based off of that. I mean, it's just probably going to be like the Emoji Movie, and which is going to be based off of blocks. So
John Ratsey's saying, what are they going to make next? Dig Dug?
Don't tempt them. Do not tempt them.
He says Dig Dug the game, but I'm thinking like as a movie probably is what he meant. And I'm just thinking I could imagine that as like a pretty nifty horror movie. Like, think about it. You gotta go down. You gotta dig deep. You gotta get all this stuff, all these resources. You need them to make everyone above live. They count on this guy. He has to go down there and he has to face the darkness and the claustrophobia. He has to dig his way through. But the more he digs, the more the monsters can get to him easily. And he doesn't have a weapon. But he finds out he can use his thing to just launch the little hose into the thing, and it's like, and then he's like, pump, 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 and they explode in guts everywhere. It's like,
Yes, and the reason why I was bringing it up, Spudley, because even though the article is 2 years old, was just to make a point.
Yeah.
First Sonic the Hedgehog with Jim Carrey, Tetris trilogy. So, yeah, and not to mention there is also the Mario movie with Illumination Entertainment. So
right, at least that is going to be animated. So that's something anyway. I will say that I am like, if
Pac-Man almost had a live-action movie, and I just imagine this big yellow guy just with a big plate of pellets, just
or if you're going to get into, like, this is the point where the movie industry has exploited so much video game material that now they're getting into like the games like Dig Dug and Tetris and so forth, and trying to make films out of them. Let's wait until they've exploited everything mainstream and have to go off to the side to the lesser known games that most people probably don't even remember or know were video games. Let's have a video game called Chips Challenge. I mean, let's have a movie called Chips Challenge. Let's base that on a TV. Let's make a freaking Netflix series or a movie about that.
yeah,
Kevin Schaefer saying they could do Halo, but wasn't that what District 9 was supposed to be?
yeah, they were going to be doing a Halo movie, but then it was sidelined. There's been a lot of movies recently that have been sidelined. The Uncharted movie, the Metal Gear Solid movie. Yeah, right now we don't even know anything about those movies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, going into the main topic that we were discussing about Daria. Yeah, I'm actually really interested about how they're going to be able to.
Squadalaguldic says they should make a movie based on fucking Wii Fit.
Yes.
Well, the Wii Fit Robosizer or whatever made it into the Super Smash Brothers game, so why not go into the movies next?
Gojira Fan 1954 says, a film based off Pong. If they do that, I will initiate World War III.
Don't even joke.
No. John Ratsey says, I hope they don't make a movie about Paperboy. Yes. Oh, my God.
I could imagine it would just be like the Pong movie would have to be a full epic 3-hour movie, but it would be just nothing but a big black screen with the two paddles, and they just be bouncing the little square ball in between each other, and you just be waiting for one of them to score. And as soon as one scores, boom, you find out who wins, left or right.
Kay's World says Adam Sandler as Tetris block number 1, Rob Schneider as Tetris block number 2. Oh, yeah. God. Rob Schneider is a Tetris block. Okay, I'm done. All right. Yeah, if you think that all this stuff is like, with gaming that's been going on lately, it's just been absolutely absurd. Oh, we haven't even gotten to the best of it. So, we're talking about the game itself. We're going to be talking about places that you buy games or didn't. Yeah, we're going to be talking about GameStop. Everybody loves GameStop, right?
Well, actually, I've boycotted them for years, but that's just me.
That was sarcasm. Anyway, so yeah, GameStop considering buyout with Hot Topic owners interested. So, yeah, apparently, according to this article, the reason why is because they're not doing well with business because of digital downloads. And because they're not making as much money as they did in the past, they want to consider having a buyout with the guys behind Hot Topic.
Digital downloads really haven't. I mean, they may be cutting in a little bit, but they're really not a major force in putting foot. They just don't sell as much.
Yeah. So this comes 1 month after former Microsoft executive / board director Shane Kim was appointed interim CEO of GameStop. So 1 month after this guy became CEO, is like buyout. I want this thing to go away for good.
I feel like if you have any kind.
I think Decker's frozen.
I think you're right. Furthermore, he's frozen, making a very ridiculous face. Which
I love this. I'm going to screenshot this, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it's gone. It's a black screen now.
It's not on my end. He's still okay. Hang on. No, I moved away. I clicked on you, then I clicked on him, and yeah.
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 Well, yes, he is frozen. Everybody. Wow. Yes, I would love to play like the clip where Christopher Lloyd says I was frozen today, but you know what? I'm not going to because of copyright.
Hello.
Claims. There you are. Yes.
Power went out.
Uh-oh.
But
That's not
I'm
good.
back because I have my phone's. I'm tethering the Wi-Fi. I have access to my 4G. So I hooked my Surface, as it's got a battery, into the 4G. I'm going to take that out so I'm not using the battery for that. Hi, everyone. Oh,
We are professionals, people.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were just saying earlier about like there was a new CEO who came into GameStop, and then 1 month later, he was like, know what, I'm done. I'm gonna wash my hands, clean this all out, and I'm just gonna sell out to Hot Topic. I'm gonna do a huge buyout. So, yeah, I mean anybody who works there, they must be pretty pissed. It's like, I remember when I was in high school, I mean, those two places were like, it's like you go to this place and then you go over to the next place afterwards. So it's like, they were like in competition. It's like you have the game session and then you have the place where you have like the pop culture reference t-shirts and everybody who wants to be like fake emo. That was like the rage when I was in high school. So yeah, I guess we're in the end of an era, I guess you could say. I guess the only...
Yeah.
Okay, I got the chat back up over here. I had to reload it because when you lose internet for that long, YouTube's like, you know what? Screw you. Reload the page. I don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't buy anything at GameStop because it was really freaking expensive, and I didn't sell anything at GameStop because I didn't make anything for doing so. I didn't buy anything used at GameStop because they were also really freaking expensive, and I may as well just buy new.
Yeah.
So that's I can think of many, many reasons why GameStop wasn't doing financially well, and I don't think people buying everything digitally really was the thing. But,
possibly.
I think it's more like Amazon. Amazon did it.
Well, and not only that, but if you want to sell a game back, like even if you had it for like less than a day or a week, they won't even give you store credit. They'll like give you like a few chump change, and that would be pretty much it.
Okay, what's good?
Yeah. Well, do you have any memories of GameStop, Creepy?
A few. It wasn't like my favorite place in the world. Actually, my favorite video game hangout back, well, it wasn't when I was a teenager because I don't know if it existed, but it was like when I was, after I got out of high school and when I was able to, like drive further away and go to, places that, had GameStops and whatnot. But there was a small chain around in this area called Game Exchange, and it sold old like used games, old PS1 games, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Atari games, and I loved hanging out in that store. I really did. But my friends and I, we would go to GameStop once in a while. We would go there, hang out. I would usually go to get I would sometimes get used games from there or something else. But, GameStop, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So,
right. We have a $2 question from the Terror of Death who says, first Toys R Us and now GameStop? What's next?
Don't ask.
What else has Microsoft touched recently?
Good question.
I actually knew someone once who, when we were both like 21 who told me that he had never been in a Toys R Us in his entire life. Like, his family specifically forbid him from ever going into one as a kid.
Really?
So when we were about almost 21, we were about 20, 21 years old, I took him to a Toys R Us. Like, I was like, okay, we're doing this. Like, I found this out. So I was like, okay, next time we go somewhere together, we're doing this. And I took him into a Toys R Us, and he was delighted. He loved it.
Yeah, that must have been a lot of fun.
I'm sorry. Go on, though. I jumped in. I'm sorry about that.
No. We were just, we were just like thinking about like, what else could, be taken away from our childhoods? First Toys R Us, now GameStop. What is next? Oh no.
Say we already lost Blockbuster, so
Mhm.
Yes, we lost Blockbuster. We lost Circuit City. We lost FAO Schwartz. $5 from Kyle Edwards, who says, we have a game exchange here in Texarkana, Texas.
Mhm.
Okay, that's cool. I've never been to a game exchange before. We did have a local game store called Sub-Zero Games that my friends and I from college used to hang around in, where not only did they display like the old games, but we also used to have video game tournaments over there. So it sounds pretty cool.
Blade 17 saying soon all there will be is Walmart.
No, please no. All right. Oh boy. Okay, so what else can we say from video games that is just a big flaming middle finger? Oh, I know. I got one. Because everybody who thinks about video games and like the worst company ever, everybody immediately goes to EA.
Oh yes.
And yes, EA, because their reputation of scamming people and causing a whole bunch of ruckus. And now they just drove away one of the most influential writers, directors, and producers in all of gaming, Amy Hennig. She left EA, and her Star Wars game is on the shelf, so she can be able to start her own independent studio. Now, for those who don't know who Amy Hennig is, she worked in various video games such as the Legacy of Kain series and various other games right before she went over to Naughty Dog, and she worked on the Jak and Daxter series, and she was the writer of the first 3 Uncharted games. After Uncharted 3, she left to go over to Visceral Games so that she can be working on a secret Star Wars project. However, EA shut down Visceral Games last October, and the game was constantly delayed and delayed and delayed until eventually she was like, you know what, I've had enough. And so she pretty much left. Which, guess what?
She was actually designing the Space Force.
You know what? I don't blame her for leaving because here's the thing. Like, EA's reputation of purchasing gaming studios and then eventually shutting them down is just absolutely vile and just disgusting. I mean, right now EA is in year 5 or on their 10-year licensing rights to make Star Wars games. So far, they've made 2, the Battlefront games. And both times they sucked, and they've made public apologies for how much they turned out to be. The first one didn't have a campaign, and the second one you had to buy a loot crate so you can be able to level up your character and unlock characters. And both of them were just like flaming dumpster train wrecks.
Well, they removed the loot crate requirements, but the damage was done for the... Oh, man, was the damage done there.
Yeah.
Like, the entire industry shook from that fuck up.
Yes. Right. Everybody who's anybody, whenever they talked about like worst games of 2017, that game will be brought up. Either that or Mass Effect Andromeda, which EA was also responsible for. Yeah. I'm really disappointed because I knew that Amy Hennig, she was working in Naughty Dog when they were at their prime, and she took a major risk by leaving the company so that she can be able to go in a smaller little company so they can make a huge, incredibly ambitious Star Wars game. But because EA was just like, pushing them around and delaying it, and then it just pretty much got to the point in which she was just flat out fed up. And I don't blame her. I really don't. I just hope that whatever that she's doing, that she can be able to go off and do better things, especially not ones that involve with EA.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's saying, give Dead Space back. Don't forget Old Republic, Wars Jedi. Starfighter was good. EA killed Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. And I'm trying to figure out if that was like a game or if there was just a poor tiger in a zoo and Electronic Arts representatives just came up and just did the horrible thing in front of like all the little crying children. I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest.
Yeah. In fact, I have one final things to say about this. So, EA, here you go. Drink it in. You deserve it. I hope that you're watching because you deserve it.
Jesse Guajardo says, I thought the middle finger to the gaming world was the PlayStation 5. And there was a lot of rumors circulating about that, and there was all kinds of speculation. But Sony at E3 specifically said they weren't going to show any hardware at all.
Yeah, even though we've been talking about the rumors for ages, and it still has yet to be determined.
And I mean, I was just... I didn't like hearing that they weren't going to show any hardware at all, because I've been looking forward to them talking about those little... the patents they've got for new PlayStation VR controllers with the capacitive finger thing, so you can go like this, and it actually looks like you're going like that in the game. I want to be able to do this in games. It's very important.
Yes. Satoshi Katsumoto says, who's worse, Konami or EA? That's really tough.
Well,
it's like
overall, the more they've had their fingers in more pies and punched more people in the dick than Konami.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Konami has treated its workers like prisoners, have watched over their social media pages and making sure that they don't talk negative about them. Let go Kojima, canceled Silent Hills.
Right.
They're not doing anything with their other franchises other than making pachinko machines. So,
but speaking about dumpster fires, where no one knows exactly who's the worst one out of the entire situation. Hey, you hear about TanaCon?
Oh, yes. TanaCon. For those who didn't go to VidCon because you guys weren't popular, there was an alternative called TanaCon, who was done by this YouTuber named Tana Monaco, Mongyo, whatever. Mongyu. I don't care. But yes, TanaCon was a dumpster fire. And Decker has been sending me this stuff for weeks, talking about TanaCon and how much of an absolute mess it was. So yeah, again, for those who don't know what VidCon is essentially like a YouTube convention where like the biggest YouTubers gather around and they basically do panels and discuss about various things. So TanaCon was supposed to be like the alternative, and it was bad. Decker, you know about more of this stuff than I do, so why don't you go discussing more in detail of it?
Well, basic thing is Tana kind of got the shaft from the guys at YouTube for VidCon, and she's like, okay, well, screw it. I'm going to do my own convention in 2 months. And she got together with...
Already, if I could interject, I find a flaw here in this plan.
we had more time to plan Gamerathon 3, and look how that turned out.
Yeah.
But so in 2 months, it was going to make a bigger and better convention than VidCon. She didn't do it all alone. She hired the help of Good Times, which was it's Good Times convention company. They'd be like, we do this all the time, and it turns out to actually just be one guy. But yeah, they hammered out all kinds of details and all sorts of things. But the main thing that happened was they rented out the Marriott and they sold 5,000 tickets to a venue that can hold 1,000 people. So, after about 4 hours of 4,000 people waiting outside and getting sunburnt and dehydrated and people having to be taken to the hospital because crap, the whole convention eventually just got completely canceled. Not just the rest of that day, but all of it. Just the whole thing, just shut it down. Not going to work. Goodbye. Thank you for coming. Yeah, you paid $65 for your paid ticket, and that came with the gift basket that we said was going to be worth so much, and it actually had like a 1 cent wrist strap in it and a condom.
Yes. There's the picture right there.
Yep.
Oh, Rygon dropped 1,000 huff. Said, "Don't scare me like that. I thought you were talking about TennoCon for Warframe. By the way, Warframe is coming to the Switch. Oh yeah, that dropped. That news dropped today. Warframe is the thing that big red button. Is it?
Yeah, it's a big red button.
Yeah, they were porting to the Switch. The big name game they were working on, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's all sorts of stuff, and of course Hannah got a lot of crap for this because, well, gee, it's her name on it. She was there working on it from the beginning. But Shane was also supposed to be there, and he kind of wasn't. And there were a lot of people that flew over from states across, and like from Egypt, I think someone came specifically to see Shane Dawson. And he wasn't there, and that didn't happen. And there's a lot of stuff. And so he was trying to make things right. He was also trying to get to the bottom of things. So he does what he does and made a 3-part series on his channel where you have to tune in next time to find out what happens. God damn it, Shane.
Oh my god!
But he tried to do things kind of even-handed. I think he tried to give an even look. Like he let Good Times, Michael, he let them give their side of the story, let Tana give their side of the story, and he tried to be like, draw your own conclusions. But I don't think Shane really it clicked to him just how fucking scummy Michael came off in his defending himself, because his way of defending himself really came off. Like, have you ever in your life met someone who was a scam artist? Or you don't even have to go that far. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone who is emotionally manipulative? And you've gotten past that. You're not in a relationship anymore, and now you can see those traits in people when they do that stuff. It's like people who don't know, people who aren't familiar, they're like, oh, that sounds terrible. I'm sorry for upsetting you. I don't want to. I know this is really hard for you. I didn't realize it was so bad. You had it so bad. But if you've been in a situation where you've dealt with a scam artist or someone who's emotionally manipulative, you hear someone just start deflecting everything all the time, and they're like, oh, this is so terrible for me because I'm losing this, I'm losing that. Oh, woe is me. It's like, hold the fuck up. Explain. You're losing your house and your car, and you're 21 years old. How the fuck did you get in the first place, and why can't you get another?
Yeah.
It's just all kinds of things. I mean, Tana came to the design convention from the wrong angle. I mean, she wanted to make a really good convention, but she wanted to make it good to spite VidCon. So it was always about revenge.
Right.
But I'm not thinking that Michael wanted to make something good in the first place.
Right.
That's just a thing.
Yeah. So Tana had noble intentions born from ignoble motivations, but she did want this to be a good thing. So make of that what you will. The other guy, on the other hand, just saw this as an opportunity to take what he could and run.
Yeah, then there's also the thing like, well, all of the ticket sales are being held by the one ticket company, so how am I profiting on it? By the way, I recorded everything, and I tried to take all the recordings that I didn't actually record that were actually of the things that happened behind the scenes, and I was going to make a documentary about this event following its production, but only if I have absolutely all of the footage, because I don't want anyone editing this together that that shows things that I don't want them to see.
You know what this reminds me of, though? What clicks in my head? What was it called? Was it DashCon? It was that Tumblr convention.
DashCon was a shit show, but I don't think it was people I don't think that there was someone setting out up for vindictive reasons or someone trying to put it together who didn't have the interests of the people trying to actually make a convention in the forefront. I think it was just really, really bad. That was just straight bad management all around.
Right. That was just.
It would be like if I tried to make a convention. That's what it would look like. DashCon.
Right. It's like DeckerCon,
DeckerCon.
Like, and you thought DashCon and TennoCon were bad. But yeah, it's like basically DashCon became what it was because no one knew what the fuck they were doing. TanaCon became what it was because people did know what they were doing, and well, this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine what DeckerCon would be. It would be like decorated, very similar to Alien. The giveaway in bags would be Decker Shadow's hair as wigs, and maybe a chainsaw keychain, and T-shirts that has his catchphrases. The internet personality with the best hair, and
motherfucking chainsaw hands, and the body count has started.
Yep.
So you're thinking of this in terms of what I would put together. You're not thinking about what I would accomplish in putting together. So the gift basket would be like a paper clip with a word that says chainsaw, like written on paper in the clip. And there you go. There is your keychain. Just slides right on there.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
John Rassi says it will be everything covered in hair, and nobody will be let in with short hair. Yes.
Oh man, I mean, like just talking about it, it sounds like a cringe-worthy disaster.
Mr. Bone Show says straight from the horse's faced mouth.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. My personality has a horse face that's 3 miles long.
A face that's 3 miles long.
Oh god.
Amazing.
Oh man. Yeah,
right.
DeckerCon. You know what? And the sad thing is, now I kind of want this to happen.
I know. It's like I know how hard it is to set something up properly. Like you can make all the plans in the world, and if things just aren't managed right, it all goes to hell.
And sometimes, even if it is managed right, sometimes you just have shitty luck. You know?
Yeah. But I mean, it's like. There are things like in the behind-the-scenes footage with Michael and Tana talking, where he's ensuring her that Marriott has said that 5,000 people can fit in there, and it's like, oh, but if you want, we could cut it down to like 3,000. We could do that, and there's a part of her like, oh, we could, but are we gonna? And I'm thinking like, that looks like it could be edited in all kinds of ways. Yes. But of course, Tana didn't come off the best there. But at the same time, at that point, she really thought, based on the best of her knowledge, that 5,000 people could fit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like that part, I'm just like, okay, you sold 5,000 tickets to go to a convention that holds a maximum of 1,000 people. I think I know where you went wrong here. The question is, do you?
But it's like not just the ticket sales. The gift baskets were just absolute, just not nearly as.
Yeah, I mean, you had a wristband and you had a condom.
Yeah,
but also like the security that was hired by Good Times, the security Michael hired, was about, what was it, a half or a third the size of what he said it was going to be, and they were all just untrained people in T-shirts that say security. It was like really cheap, and still, even for how cheap it was extremely understaffed.
Yeah. Brandon Kilgore says, Creepy better be singing that penis song like at the beginning of the review of Hellraiser Revelations. Yes, we're going to have a panel with Creepy and Chibithulu, and they're going to be singing various things. They're going to be singing songs from Nightmare Before Christmas and Steven Universe and a whole bunch of things.
And Gem!
Misfits of Hawaii.
The Terror of Death dropped a $5 super chat. Says, since one of the last members of the Marvel's Golden Age is dead, I propose a toast to Steve Ditko. May his creations carry him to the next life. I have a cup here.
My bottle's over there.
Yeah, I don't have anything, but I'll do that. Well,
yeah, still got to drop a coffee in there. Good, there we are.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, but seriously, what if we learned when it comes to planning a convention? Plan longer than 2 months in advance.
Don't plan with people who have a reputation for being con artists.
Well, I mean, it's like, did he have a reputation for being a con artist yet? I don't know. Tana was saying that his friends were telling her that he was gonna scam her, but at the same time, I'm thinking, well, why didn't you listen to him then? She also said that they were telling her that for 6 months, and I'm like, but I thought you had 2 months to prepare.
Nah.
I don't know. There's things said this way, and some things don't line up, and a lot of things can just be stuff coming out of your mouth, and you're not thinking as well, and you're not. I like my grammars is right now they suck, but that doesn't mean I'm lying to you.
That is true. All right. While we switch over to our next topic, let's review the Twitter poll, shall we?
Oh yes, the Twitter poll.
Yes.
So let's take a look to see who you want to see play as Miles. Oh, we have a tie, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome.
So 35% of you guys want to see either Tom Holland or Kevin Hart. 28% says Shia LaBeouf, and 2% says Jacob Tremblay. Awesome. Let's see what the comments have to say.
Jay Alexander says a kid from It or Stranger Things, and you can actually get one that actually wasn't both. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, how many times have we tied? Like, is this our first or this is the second time?
I think we tied once before.
Okay, yeah, I think so too. So yeah, second time that we've ever had a tie. So yes, thank you so much, everybody. We will be sending this over to Hollywood. No, we won't. We will definitely not.
What if both Tom Holland and Kevin Hart play one of Tails' Tales?
Or maybe we could have one of them play Knuckles.
I would want God, now his name's just not on Terry Crews.
Oh.
I want Terry Crews as Knuckles.
That's going to be difficult because I wasn't going to pull this up, but Terry Crews is not going to be in the Expendables 4 because there was some accusations going on him. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a little bit difficult at this time. But yeah, sorry. Guess we'll have to get another buff black guy to play as an echidna.
I was just thinking like just big and like bombastic.
Dwayne Johnson. There we go. Alex Buckingham says Dwayne Johnson is Knuckles.
Okay,
why not? Yeah, sure. All right. Okay, I think we can take a break from the games for a while. Let's talk about movies now.
Yay.
Well, right. So finally, I think that we should talk about the movie that is actually on the title. That's to clarify. Oh, Main Black Banner says to clarify, it's him accusing others. Oh, okay, so it's the other way around. I'm sorry. So
I heard about that. He was, he was a victim of sexual abuse.
Yeah,
according to him, which I do believe him. I mean, he's a cute guy.
Yeah. So I mean, I can understand why he's not going to be in the Expendables 4. We have another $5 comment from Just Another Black Man who says, I would buy a t-shirt with blue thong gay stripper moment. By the way, remind me what that is. That is a scene from a porno movie called Romeo and Julian, by the way.
Yes.
So, yes, that is what that is where it's from.
Decker does not have fond memories of Romeo and Julian.
Nah.
No.
I don't blame him. That is burnt into my retinas, and why?
All right.
I'll just gonna get up here and just start dancing. Hi, I got a blue thong. Stick money in it.
Yes. All right. Now let's go over to movies and let's discuss about our main feature presentation. So, let's discuss about the Predator trailer, which the new one just came out a couple of weeks ago, and we wanted to actually feature the trailer for you guys. We had a supercut ready for you, but it would not get any volume to save our lives, and we tried.
We really did. We really tried for all of you, and it did not happen.
Yeah, so we're sorry, everybody. So you're gonna have to get a stock picture in the meantime. So yes, as shown on the thumbnail, you have Jacob Tremblay, who was going to be in the movie as the kid, and if you saw the recent trailer, he's not in it.
Actually, he is.
Well, I mean, he is, but not that much compared
Well,
to the
yeah,
teaser
that's the
trailer.
thing. The teaser trailer had a lot of him like, "Pew, pew, I got the predator tech and I'm causing the ship to crash. Isn't this cute and hilarious?" And that was
Mhm.
not in the new trailer. And funny thing is, a lot of people have been, saying that he's just straight up not in the movie, even though he's still in the trailer in a couple of shots. And some have said that they are reshooting parts of the Predator. I don't know. I haven't seen any confirmation on that. Just straight up remove him.
Hmm.
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. If the huge backlash that everybody had with, a kid being in a Predator movie being out of place, I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. And maybe they'll just put it in the extended edition.
See, my
I
whole
mean, it
thing
wouldn't have
is
been
the
out of
idea.
place for an '80s movie.
My whole thing was the idea of the kid was a pretty big sore spot, but at the same time, that's not nearly the only problem I had with the Predator. So much going on. The trailer still shows here's our happy, snarky little assassin man making his jokes about killing people, and all this. And I'm just looking at it. And I'm like, what exactly? Why? There's a reason I said initially, scrap the whole thing and start over. And
Mm-hmm.
the kid, if you just delete the kid, if that's really what's happening, if they're reshooting certain scenes to make it so the kid is not necessary to the plot anymore and the kid is minimized in the movie, but the rest of the movie remains the same, then that might not even actually make the movie better. It would just remove the kid and it would possibly be more disjointed. And a movie with the kid might actually be better than a movie that's just chopped up to replace a couple of things and remove the kid. But I think overall, you just throw the whole thing in the trash and start again. Stop. Why did you get this far? How is that possible where you just didn't know what you were doing? It's kind of like the Phantom Menace. They went really far before George Lucas realized what the hell he did.
Right.
But he didn't go back and try and rip it up and semi-fix it later. It's like, well, we've gone too far. We really can't. We have to work with what we have. So they worked with what they had, and it went over with audiences. But yeah, would it have been better if he had gone back and ripped it up? Probably not. And I'm wondering, like, if that is what's happening with the Predator, is that really better? Yeah. Either way, I don't think I'm going to like it. I don't know which one would be a better movie overall, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, once again, the movie is going to be coming out let's see, next month, actually. So August 8th. I believe that's what the date is. I could be wrong. So maybe by the next month, we'll actually get to see for ourselves about, if the Predator is going to be as bad, or maybe it'll surprise us. Which, come to think of it, Decker, did you review the other Predator movie, the recent one that came out a few years ago?
Predators, yes.
Okay, so yeah, all you have to do is just when this movie comes out, either on DVD or Blu-ray or on demand or streaming or whatever.
I'm going to sneak my camera into the theater.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay, Decker's gonna rent out a movie by himself, and he's going to do commentary on the movie and what his thoughts are, so that everybody can see.
Let's see. Where was it? There was a. Oh yeah. Alexi Chiton says, Decker, your video and audio seem out of sync, and that might be because I'm still tethered to my phone because the power went out earlier, as everyone saw, and I had to really quickly try and find some way to get back online so that I could continue.
Also, we never did bring this up while you were here, but when the connection fell, it didn't just blank out completely at first. It froze with you making this very interesting face. So we got to look at that for a minute or so.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, in fact, I almost tried to screenshot it, but it just came out black.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. It
The
was a shame
Terror
too.
Death dropped $5. Says I still think they should have made a sequel to Predators 2010.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if maybe they had a plan to do that, but maybe either reviews weren't very well, or maybe it was just pushed to the sideline, and then they decided to do the other movie. Speaking of which, that goes into our next segue. Okay, so I've been hearing a lot of people just criticizing the hell out of Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom. Everybody's been saying, me neither. I have not seen it either. But they have been criticizing it, saying that it is just a beyond just idiotic, dumb movie.
Well, that'll make a great review.
Yeah. So the reason why I brought that up is because from what I've heard in reviews, it definitely is a bit better than the movie we almost had, which was Jurassic Park 4. So A&V News actually did discuss about Jurassic Park 4 around the time in which Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was already out in theaters. And they were saying, like, even if that movie was completely ridiculous, it's nothing compared to the movie that was pitched around, around the 2000s. I think it was like 2004, 2005. But yeah, it was written by John Sayles, and it was leaked on the internet about a few years ago when World was being released. And this is what the movie would have been about. Rather than center on the creation of a new, predictably ill-fated park, Sayles' concept for a fourth Jurassic Park was about mercenaries and drug lords and dino-human hybrids. The film would have centered on rival armed factions racing each other to retrieve valuable DNA left behind at the original park. The movie's hero, one of the soldiers, would eventually end up held hostage in a medieval castle in the Swiss Alps with a villain named Baron Hermann von Drax. Yes. That sounds like a video game villain.
Baron Hermann von Drax.
Yeah.
Baron von Drax. As these things naturally work out, the evil von Drax is found to possess and control genetically engineered super raptors that he needs the movie's heroic soldier to finish training for combat. Other drafts of the screenplay take the concept even further, introducing dinosaur-human hybrids just begging to be turned into absolutely hilarious-looking action figures. And if you're actually interested in reading more on this, the script is leaked online. So if you just type in Jurassic Park 4...
We gotta make this movie creepy. I'll be the raptors.
Yes, I actually do have it somewhere. Let me just see if I can pull it up somewhere. Let's see. I don't have it. Oh well. But yeah, yes, the movie you can actually see, not see, but you can read. So go online, type in Jurassic Park 4 script, and just have a blast reading of the movie that we almost had.
John Ratsey said, if we could do a dino-human hybrid, which dinosaur would you choose to have put in you?
Phrasing.
Yeah. And also, Pachycephalosaurus, because that would make it a lot easier to smack myself in the forehead without hurting myself.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it would really help with chewing, like, grains and such.
Yeah.
Any of those big beastly ones with the big flat teeth with the crunchy, anything like that. It just make that so much easier. I don't have teeth. It's a thing. I'd like to chew one of these days.
Yeah, so I haven't seen Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, so I have no idea how ridiculous and bad it is compared to Jurassic Park 4. So if any of you guys have seen the movie, and if you take time to read the script, please let us know next time in Live and Wired about which one was the worst. So yeah, that's your homework assignment for today, kids.
Even Jay says, Fallen Kingdom wasn't that bad, had a lot of interesting concepts, and made you feel for the dinosaurs, that's for sure.
Okay, cool.
That's interesting to hear someone who isn't saying that it's a train wreck, so, I haven't seen it yet, so...
That's great.
Yeah.
Main Black Banner says, I know you like Godzilla. I'm guessing you heard about Godzilla 2 at San Diego Comic-Con and likely trailer to come out in the panel in 2 weeks from today. You hyped?
I need to work on my Halloween reviews. I don't got time to be hyped.
Yeah, we'll probably discuss about it in live. We'll probably do maybe we'll do a San Diego Comic-Con edition of Live and Wired when that comes out, because I know a lot of stuff is going to be revealed in SDCC, but we'll see.
I did bring up an idea. We didn't share this publicly, so I'm being vague with this on purpose. But I did bring up an idea for something next year similar to that. But
Oh yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see.
I remember now. I drank a lot on July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
You know how nice Crown Royale is? I do.
Okay.
All right. I guess we can go over to the next one. So let's since we're in a ridiculous kind of thing, let's talk about a ridiculous horror movie. We have a new trailer that just got released a few days ago. Let me just click on this for a second. There we go. Okay, so the movie is called Mandy, and it is a horror movie that stars Nicolas Cage. Let's see. Nicolas Cage and Andrea Riseborough live in the remote tranquility until an absolutely bananas cult kidnaps her. There's endless screaming and blood and even a chainsaw fight. But
No. A motherfucking chainsaw fight.
There you go. But to tell you more would defeat the show-all extravaganza of writer-director Panos Cosmatos' heavy metal horror nightmare. Suffice to say that this is a movie, as Vulture's Kyle Buckingham said in a Sundance Film Festival, where Nicolas Cage slays a demon alien and then does a huge line of cocaine, but that almost seems redundant. Nicolas Cage does not need to do cocaine to get lit. Cocaine ought to try Nicolas Cage. That's amazing. That is a great line. Perfect. Mandy premieres on September 14th. So yes, we have a horror movie with Nicolas Cage with a chainsaw snorting cocaine fighting demon aliens. Awesome.
Yeah, the trailer looked interesting. Like it also kind of weird and different. Like there's there were parts of it were just straight up animated. Like not like CGI, like drawings. Like hand drawing, not like, oh, here's an animation that you've seen from the 2000s that is done in Flash. No, this looks like something that it looks like something from Heavy Metal.
Mm-hmm.
The Terror of Death dropped $5. I've read the Jurassic Park 4 script and watched Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom was pretty damn good, and the JP4 sucks.
Okay, congratulations, Terror of Death. You've completed your homework assignment. I will give you a gold star.
Gold star for you.
Yes.
From Patricia, which makes it extra special.
Aw, thank you.
This is not sarcasm.
But I wanted to, Baron von, what was it again?
Baron von Drax.
Baron von Drax. I want him.
Okay, speaking of things that sound like they're from the 80s.
That was lightning, by the way, if you just heard that.
Yeah, I did hear it that
Patricia,
time.
do you got a phone with tethering that you can... You might need it.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
No, don't leave us. Don't leave me alone with him.
That was the last time. It was terrible.
God damn it.
Oh, shit.
Like, she really did. She really did just poof.
Oh, man. Oh, timing. Timing is everything. So, hi.
I'm back. Okay, so yeah, I guess it was my
We're
turn.
saved.
Sorry, everybody.
Speaking of things that sound like they're from the 80s, Clive Barker is developing a Nightbreed TV series on Sci-Fi.
Yes. Actually, we have a lot of TV series that are being developed. So, yeah, we actually want to talk about that. So, yes, Clive Barker. For those who don't know, Clive Barker done a lot of books, a lot of horror movies in the 80s, especially Hellraiser, which you guys know about if you've seen Decker's videos. So, yeah, now Sci-Fi is bringing Clive Barker's horror to television with Nightbreed. So, yeah, there was a movie from the 90s called Nightbreed, but now they're going to do a TV series based off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Anybody want to read this one? It's pretty short.
I'll take that.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, Decker can have it.
Clive Barker is known for his unusual approach to horror. Violent, imaginative, sexual, and utterly engrossing. Now, Deadline reports that Clive Barker and Sci-Fi are working together to adapt Nightbreed, a 1990 Barker film, to television. The story, based on Barker's short story collection Cabal, is about a world where humans persecute monsters, following an underground group of human/monster hybrids looking for a safe haven. There has never been a more relevant time for us to turn to one of the genre's great cult classics from our movie library to impact the national conversation with bold, compelling, and unconventional storytelling, said David Robinson, president of Morgan Creek Entertainment Group. The team at Morgan Creek is very excited to partner with Clive Barker, Sci-Fi, and Universal Cable Productions on Nightbreed for a unique, trenchant, and no-holds-barred exploration of race relations in today's society. That's tricky territory to get right, but I'm at least interested. This series, which is now in development, will be written by Jigsaw screenwriter Josh Stolberg.
Oh, you one of the guys from the Saw series. Okay, well, that ought to be interesting.
And they have no concept of the idea of oversaturation. I just wonder.
Yeah.
Now's the perfect time because we've missed like what the hell all the rest of the shows are talking about right now.
Yeah, and trust me, there is a lot. So, have any of you guys ever seen Nightbreed or ever read the book?
No, it is Nightbreed, so it does still fit the theme. So it's it does get a little bit of a pass there. It's not like, oh, we're gonna change everything here. It's like, no, it's still pretty much about that. It's like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have any of you guys ever seen the original Nightbreed movie?
I saw the original when I was really, really young, and I can't quite remember. I just feel like there was like a dude who got some shit happen to him. Then he's like, "Hi, I'm like a half monster man now, but it's kind of tough. I got a nice, nifty leather jacket and a little makeup here. That's the part that makes me a monster. By the way, here's this naked porcupine lady. She's gonna spin around and fling quills at these guys and get them in the necks and shit, and they're gonna die until they blow her away with a fucking shotgun. I'm like, ah."
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Same here. It's like, I know I feel like I saw it, but at the same time, I'm like, if you asked me what the movie was about, I would tell you there were monsters in it, I think. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember liking it. That's the weird thing. Like, I have the vaguest idea of what it's about, but I do remember enjoying what I watched. I just couldn't tell you anything about what I actually watched. Make sense of that if you can.
Sure. But yeah, so we're getting a Nightbreed TV series for all those who are interested in checking it out. That's not the only series we're going to be getting. For those who grew up in the 90s, you may remember Monster Vision. Monster Vision, which was a program that was featured on TNT and featured a lot of horror movies. They've had a lot of changing hosts over the years, like Penn and Teller and such, but the most famous one for a lot of people was Joe Bob Briggs, and he was the drive-in movie critic who would call everything, 4 stars and a whole bunch of things. So for those who are interested in wondering what he's up to now, he's actually going to be creating a brand new series in Shudder called The Last Drive-In. And he's going to be starting things off with a 24-hour movie marathon in July.
Just a second, Patricia.
Yeah, go ahead.
Erwin Boss dropped a €10 super chat and says, "Hey, Decker, been watching your vids since you first started." And that's a long damn time. I work at a bar in the Netherlands, and you've got a huge fan base here. I'm like,
oh, nice.
wow, really? That's
Cool.
pretty cool. Thank you.
Neat.
Oop, I did it, but there we
It
go.
looks like you'll have to visit the Netherlands sometime.
Oh, yeah. Again. Well, did I visit? I visited Scandinavia, but I don't know.
And you also went to Finland.
Well, that is in Scandinavia.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, then. So, yeah, you have to definitely go to the Netherlands in the future. So, anyway, continuing on. So, yes, as mentioned before, The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. Going to be starting things off with a 24-hour marathon on Friday the 13th. and there's going to be like various movies that is going to be playing, and Joe Bob will be there discussing about the movie, similar to what he used to do for Monster Vision. And you can watch it on Shudder. Now, for those who are wondering what Shudder is like a streaming site where you can be able to watch horror movies. Think of it like the Netflix of horror movies. So yeah, this is actually going to be interesting, because I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people wanting to see Monster Vision come back, but because of the advent of the internet and us getting, various things quickly online, then something like Monster Vision just wasn't, like needed as much anymore. So I'm glad that he's able to make a comeback in some way, shape, or form.
Whew. So,
have any of you guys ever seen Monster Vision?
Not that I can recall, actually.
This does have a very nostalgic feel to it, though, and I am, for some reason, reminded of... I don't know if anyone here actually watched it, but I'm sure they've heard of it. Elvira's Movie Macabre.
Ah, yes, I remember that. Yeah, that was also around the late 90s, right? When which Elvira would be doing a lot of, commentary on, like, really bad B movies.
She's the one with the giant boobage, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, and speaking of which, I'm not going to even discuss about this because it's pretty small, but Funko Figurines is making a cereal brand, and they're going to be having a horror movie icons brand. Elvira's one of them, as well as Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, and a whole bunch of other iconic movie monsters. Right. And there's even one for video games like Mega Man.
Oh, awesome. Well, for a while there, for a time, Elvira was like, I only have peripheral memories of this as a kid, but there was a time when she was everywhere, when she had, I think, she had 2 different pinball games. She had a video game. There were, like, of course, posters. She had a movie. She had a movie made about her. There was, I want to say that there was, I even want to say that she had a breakfast cereal for like a hot minute.
She probably did. A lot of 80s icons had breakfast cereals, like Mr. T.
For some reason. Yeah, that was a thing.
Terror of Death dropped a $10 super chat. Says, I still want HBO or Sci-Fi to adapt George R.R. Martin Wildcards book. And for those of you that don't know what it is, essentially think Game of Thrones plus superheroes.
Well, considering that Game of Thrones, I think they're going to be airing their last season either next year or the year after. I don't remember. But if that is the case, then who knows? Maybe they will pick it up. Time will tell. And, Jay Fernston says there was an Elvira song. Oh, really? I didn't know that there was a song of Elvira.
I missed so much TV. So much TV.
Yeah.
There was a song about Elvira. It was interesting at the very least, but
yeah. My friend and colleague Cassine Gaines interviewed Elvira a few times for his books. The first one was for Inside Pee-wee's Playhouse, so it was an unauthorized book about the making of the TV show. And if you guys remember, Cassandra Peterson, who plays as Elvira, was in Big Adventure. She was in a small scene in the biker bar in which when Pee-wee's being ganged around by the bikers, and then he's like saying, we should let him go, and then she grabs him and says, I should have him first, or something like that. So
the Mr. Bone Show asks, how many countries have you been to, Decker? And not too many. If I can recall right, Finland with a layover in Germany, and Japan with a layover in Beijing, with China.
Nice.
Yeah. But no, I was a huge, huge fan of Elvira as a kid. I just thought she was awesome. Which, considering my love of terrible horror sci-fi films, the fact that I became an internet reviewer, I feel like in hindsight, maybe she had a bigger impact on me than I realized.
I just watched a lot of Mystery Science Theater 3000. That's what I remember being the big movie thing that I watched a lot of.
Yeah, and also, that's also making a comeback because it's huge on Netflix now. The new one, anyway, the one with Patton Oswalt. And there's also Riff Tracks, which is done by a lot of the people who were formerly on Mystery Science Theater. So you have two great shows featuring guys who just riff bad movies. So and then you're going to have this one, The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob, giving everything 4 stars. So you know what? I think that nowadays, now it's a pretty good time to watch and riff bad movies.
Yay!
All right. So there's actually a lot of discussions when it comes to like more reboots of horror movies. Let's start off with stuff that's coming out based off of the work of Stephen King, because everybody loves Stephen King. Am I right?
We either love Stephen King or we resent him or we love to hate Stephen King. It's one of those.
I just wait every time when you bring up Stephen King for Creepy to sing this Stephen King song.
The story set in Maine, of course, there's nowhere else to live. With the writer, the alcoholic too, the adulterer and his whore, some dumb rednecks, a disappointing resolution here in Stephen King's Maine.
I love that. Okay, so the first one is Firestarter.
That was like one of his earliest novels, I want to say.
Yeah, I remember watching the movie adaptation when I was really young, but I don't remember all that much about it.
Yeah.
All I can remember is like, okay, so everyone's brought in for some weird government experiments and shit because they need money. And pretty much everybody dies except for these two. And they're like, hey, I like you. I like you too. And then they procreate and they have a kid, and that kid is that kid. And they're like trying to teach her to like make toast, but she's too happy just burning shit down. And they're like, she could be so useful in the kitchen, but she doesn't want to make toast. She wants to make fire. Right. And then something happens and people come and they're like, hey, we're going to kill your parents. Boom, boom, parents dead. And then father's there dying and sees the daughter there and like, hey, you like making fire? Fucking burn them. And so she does. The end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so last time on Live and Wired, when I was there, we did talk about that there was going to be a remake of Pet Sematary, and we already know about the sequel to It that's going to be coming out pretty soon. So now we have another one, Firestarter. And yes, this was based off of a book written in 1980, and it was adapted into a movie in 1984 starring Drew Barrymore, and she's going to be the executive producer of the remake, which is cool. And let's see. Also, okay, so German director Fatih Akin, who's going to direct the movie. Akiva Goldsman is going to be attached as a producer, even though he was originally going to be the writer and the director. And Jason Blum of Blumhouse Productions is going to be the producer. So yeah, we don't know when it's going to be coming out, but it should be coming out really soon. And right over there in the last paragraph, it does talk about another, adaptation of Stephen King's that's going to be coming out. That is going to be a sequel to a movie that a lot of people really like. So I'm actually going to pull that up really quick because that's a great segue for our next topic. So there's another one.
Stephen King, yeah.
Gonna talk more about Stephen King. Oh yeah. Okay.
We're gonna wind up somewhere in Maine. Oh, day.
Okay, so Doctor Sleep is our next Stephen King adaptation that's going to be coming out soon. Stephen King is the sequel to The Shining. For those who are wondering, not only the book, but there was also a movie directed by Stanley Kubrick, and there was also the the miniseries, I believe, that Stephen King preferred over the Stanley Kubrick movie. But
I think John Ratsey just wants to get fucked up. He says, is Stephen King drinking game, anyone?
God, that's been known to kill people.
Yeah, if you want to do it, that's fine. I mean, you'll be dead, but
And Patrick Johnson says, I'm already in Maine. Thunderclap.
And you've survived this long?
Really?
They got great
No.
lobsters. Just point that
That's
out.
true. That's true. I mean, you'll die in any number of horrible ways, but damn it if the lobsters aren't worth it. Actually, I imagine that being like Decker's obituary. Decker did a summer of Stephen King and played the Stephen King drinking game throughout of it. that will be it.
Yes. Okay, so Dr. Sleep first arrived in 2015 as a novel by King, 36 years after the publication of The Shining. And yeah, I mean, when did the movie of The Shining come out? Like around the 80s, I think?
Yeah.
So that's like almost 30 plus years since the movie. So it's like serendipity. I remember when when I first heard about the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs movie, and I read them as a kid, and I was like, it took like them like over 20 years for them to do Pickles to Pittsburgh, and it's like. Then when I was doing when I saw the second movie and it was nothing like Pickles to Pittsburgh, I was like, yeah, they're not going to make a third one. But apparently they did. They actually wrote a third one 3 years ago where it's about pie being discovered in Mars. And I was like, what? I'm like, nope, I'm done. But yeah, Dr. Sleep. Let's see, it's going to be about Danny coping with the aftermath of what happened so many years ago at the hotel.
God. Jay Fernstein wants me dead. He says shots of Mad Dog for the Stephen King drinking game.
Oh, no. Oh, God. I think we've had enough Stephen King, so let's just stop right there.
That's good. That's really good.
So let's focus less on Stephen King and let's focus on Chucky now, because
And I'm gone. Bye. A lot of fun doing whatever the hell it is you're going to be doing right now.
Oh well. Sorry, creepy. So yeah,
Have I mentioned how much I really hate this series?
Yeah. So
We got to do crossovers then.
Just play, everybody. Yeah. So for those who are wondering about this demonic doll Chucky, and then he pretty much just took over the whole series after that with Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky and everything else. I forget.
Bride,
I think
Seed, Curse, and now Cult, I think, is the latest one. And before that, there was just Child's Play 1, 2, and 3.
Winter timeshare of Chucky. Dropped 10 more euros. Says the bar is in a small town called Brunsum. If you ever decide to visit, would be fun having you around. Brunsum.
Oh, nice.
Right, now I gotta find Brunsum. This is probably gonna find out that there's like 50 Brunsums.
You're gonna be traveling around the world. It'll be like a Where's Decker series.
Gotta go. And all I know is that there's a bar in Brunsum. Gonna be 50 Brunsums. There's gonna be at least 10 bars in each Brunsum. And I'm just gonna be going around, bar hopping through the Netherlands.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be fun, but I'm like, where the hell are these guys?
Yeah. So, creepy. When did Cult of Chucky come out? Was that like a few years ago?
That was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were actually doing continuations of it. They were actually doing sequels of Chucky, but no more because everybody loves reboots, and we're getting a reboot of Child's Play. Everybody just sit and cry and just shake your head and just question on why.
Well, one thing I read through this article, and the thing that kind of I'm like, what? It removes. I mean, it's a completely different idea for the source of the horror. I mean, aside from the fact that it's a doll.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Chucky is possessed by a spirit of a murderer, like as a crazy, psychopathic murderer guy, criminal. Also happened to be good with black magic, and put his body into the doll before he died, so that he put his soul into the doll before he died. So boom, there we go. I'm a doll now. I got to find a full body. Oh, it's not working out. I'm stuck in the doll. Oh crap.
But that's not what the movie's about.
But this one, it's like, oh no, it's just like we got really advanced toys now. You remember Small Soldiers? Think of that, except with just the bad guys.
Oh no.
And there's just one of them.
Great. You might as well just remake Small Soldiers if you're going to do that, but
right.
It's pretty much just an advanced toy. That's it. It's a highly advanced toy with AI, and it kills.
Even
people.
I'm having some what the fuckery with this.
My God. And even they even says this right here. The big question will be if the MGM reboot uses the same Chucky doll character as the one Brad Dourif has voiced throughout the franchise, or if a new character will be introduced for legal reasons, if nothing else.
Why would you? There's no. If you're not going to have this origin or the doll, it's not the same character. It's why? Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, we already did talk about a while ago about that there was going to be a Child's Play TV series.
Erwin Boss dropped 2 more euros. Says there's only one Brunsum, easy to find.
Okay. So yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So if you are going to basically just change everything, why even bother? I mean, unless of course if you want to like update it for a new generation, but at the same time you have to keep what made it, iconic and classic and what have you. So if you want to change it to something different, then change it into a different name.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, I think we're done with the whole movies thing. So
the cult dude asks if there's an AI Chucky, does that mean he won't have a sense of humor?
They're probably going to treat it really seriously. Maybe they'll do the Terminator route in which technology is here and it's going to kill you and you must be aware of it.
Drive Me Closer says sucky.
Also, I do remember hearing once that the original concept for the movie was going to be a little bit more ambiguous. Like you didn't find out that the doll was actually alive, basically, until towards the very end of the movie, and that it was going to have more of a psychological horror element with.
There's all the terrible things happening, and then there's a wonder is like, is this kid just crazy and doing these things and saying?
Right. It's basically it was going to focus on the mother character and her being afraid whether or not her child is a murdering homicidal nut job at the tender age of whatever the fuck the age the kids was at that in that movie. But basically, it was going to be more of a psychological horror. But the studio made the director, I believe it was written and directed by the same guy, but he made, they told him to change it to be more of a traditional horror story.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if he was just trying to be like a parody of like, those toys from the 80s. It's like, they really come to life. They're not just my buddy.
It was My Buddy, and it was the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, Cabbage Patch Kids, yes.
Yeah, that was it. Mm-hmm.
I wonder what this toy is going to be. I mean, if, what would be the equivalent of today's toy if they cannot get the rights to the Chucky doll?
I don't know, because the funny thing about it, toys have become very different from the way that they were when the first movie was released. I mean, there are toy collectors now. There are adults who collect toys, and they as hobbyists, or just and make videos about it online. And there are toys specifically made and crafted for adults, as figurines, as trophy pieces almost. So how the term toy was perceived back in the 80s versus how it's perceived now, there's a distinctive gap between the two. So just going from that angle, that changes a lot.
That is true. I mean, it could be a Funko figurine. It can be like a teddy bear that you would make in the Build-A-Bear workshop. It could be something from a Loot Crate. It could be an emoji.
I want psychopathic murderous Hello Kitty.
Yes. Right. Hello Kitty psychopath. I love it. So, yeah, that's going to happen. Whether it's good or not, we have no idea. Speaking of something that's really bad, by the way, it's a very rare time in which a movie is so universally hated that it would get a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, that even people from the Cannes movie screenings would say, nope, this movie sucks. And it took almost a decade to make. And it portrays the character who's supposed to be bad, kind of a good guy. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Gotti. What everybody pretty much said is the worst movie of this year. So yeah, John Gotti, for those who don't know, he was like this, kind of like this huge crime boss who did a lot of things from murder, drugs, and had this huge, mafia around New York City. And he was arrested in 1992. And he was in jail for pretty much throughout the entire time until he died around 2001 or something. And they were planning on, for the longest time, they wanted to do a movie based off of him, but it got delayed for almost a decade until it did come out. And it has John Travolta as Gotti, and everybody hated it.
Right.
It received a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I know, Decker, you don't cover crime or gangster movies like The Godfather or Goodfellas, or not yet, but the fact that this movie took almost like a decade to make, and his son was like almost kind of like involved in it and stuff like that, and they. From what I've heard in reviews, they try to portray John Gotti as a good guy, like, here are his good elements, but he was an American mobster who killed people and sold drugs and betrayed a lot of people. So, and I also heard
there, a really, really great green bean casserole. Just saying, like, man.
You're right. Yes, he made an excellent Big Ziti.
Right.
But no. Also, you probably are wondering that if the name Gotti sounds familiar, it's true, because his daughter was on a reality show from the 2000s where it featured her and her 3 sons. I forget what the show was called, but that also happened. And I think I heard something about like the structure was bad. Like they keep trying to do the Christopher Nolan thing about like showcasing different parts of his past, but this time with no cohesion. So,
right.
Yeah, I've not seen the movie yet, but from what I've been hearing, it's not good. So, yeah, I mean, when you do discuss about gangster movies in the future, Decker, I'm sure maybe this will be on your list.
So whenever anyone says the 3 sons in some way, I always just go back in my brain to Stay Tuned. And coming up next, My 3 Sons of Bitches.
Yeah.
I'll take the next one. I feel like I've had more of a passive role tonight than.
Okay, sure.
So
I'll give you something that it's probably going to be the complete opposite to how you were feeling about Daria. So, sorry, Creepy. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You're probably going to say no. So, be warned. Here you go.
Okay, what have we got here? Yes! Shoot a monkey.
Okay. There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, so yeah, we already know about that Young Justice is going to be getting a season 3 called Young Justice Outsiders. And unfortunately, it's going to be delayed for about a year. So that sucks.
Yeah.
So,
what am I looking at here? I'm seeing spoiler.
Oh, God. Eddie Herberto says, here's a skit for Decker on gangster/crime movies. He does a review, gives it a negative, knocks on his door, and gets shot in the drive-by by Creepy.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway.
Overall, final review goes for 1 shootout out of 5.
But there's spoiler. There's, I believe that's either Tim Drake or Damian.
That looks like Damian.
Wayne Robin.
Yeah, that is definitely Damian.
Yeah, Tim Drake did have a sort of hoodie Robin, outfit at one point for a hot minute, but that spoiler, Damian Wayne Robin, they have really wanted him to be in the spotlight. Wonder Girl, Static, Blue Beetle in the background. I believe that's Impulse.
Yeah, I think that's Impulse.
Yeah, in the center. Patricia, help me out here. I'm not really sure who the 2 impulses left. Our right impulses left. A girl with brown hair.
I think they have the names in the bottom, I think.
Okay.
So let me just double check. No, it's damn, it's not here. Oh well.
Okay, damn it.
So
I could name most of them. I was drawing a blank on the last two, which kind of bugs me. But anyway, the debut of DC Universe's Young Justice Outsiders has been pushed back to 2019. Damn it. According to a larger DC Universe announcement Thursday morning, animation is also developing a slate of animated TV series based on existing fan favorites, including Harley Quinn, and the highly anticipated third season of the popular Young Justice Outsiders animated series, which are both scheduled to debut in 2019, reads the release. Back in April 2017, when Young Justice Outsiders and the live-action Titans were originally announced, both were projected for a 2018 release. Titans remain scheduled for a late 2018 release.
oh
But
man,
Young
and
Justice-
I mean, have you seen the discussion of that Titans TV series? They want to make it dark and edgy and have swearing in it. I'm not even joking.
I'm just kind of...
They want to give it a gritty reboot.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I understand why, because they're saying like, oh, Teen Titans Go is so immature. Yeah, we want to have the Teen Titans that we grew up with. So it's like, you know what, DC are thinking to themselves, okay, you wanted Titans for adults? Here you go. It's dark, it's gritty, it's gonna have swearing and have an immature rating. There you go. Hope you're happy.
Raven does heroin. Just fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah. I did actually enjoy the Teen Titans animated series that came out in the early 2000s.
I did too. Yeah.
I do not like Teen Titans Go. I
have never seen Teen Titans Go. The only time in which I've seen it was like a few years ago. I was getting ready to go to MegaCon, and my cousin was getting dressed so that we can start heading out. And he was just playing Teen Titans Go in the background because there was nothing else on, and I know nothing about it. So
yeah, same here. I have been in the room when an episode was playing, but that's about all I can say about it. Let me see. Young Justice Outsiders features the return of the fan favorite animated series with a huge cast of DC's most iconic young superheroes, plus brand new characters, many of whom are just discovering their unique meta powers and special abilities, reads DC Universe's official description of the show. Set against the backdrop of a rich, deep world that touches all corners of the DC universe, this season focuses on meta trafficking and an intergalactic arms race for control of these superpowered youths. DC has not given a reason for the change in schedule.
Of course they haven't.
The Terror of Death dropped a $5 super chat and says that Tracy 13 and Arrowette are the three characters next to Impulse.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you very much. It's hard for me to recognize Arrowette without her wearing that ugly ass fashion nightmare that they had her in the 90s. Yeah, but kudos both for her being in the show and for her for getting a different tailor. Just because no. I will share a theory. There was an interesting piece in that article that said that there were several shows by the same company that were coming out. If the other shows are coming out in 2019, then Young Justice Outsiders may have been pushed to that so they could come out and coincide with one another at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I have nothing but speculation to base this on, but that is my thought regarding, why the show may have been pushed back. But
yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that this is what you're referring to, Creepy, with the way that Arrowhead used to look in the 90s. Is this the one?
Let me see. Yes.
Isn't that lovely, people?
What is her? I'm trying to figure out what's going on with her skirt, because it seems to be going like over her right thigh on the left side of the screen, and then goes down and it goes behind her butt, like or the right thigh, and then continues.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What happened? What's going? What is the physics?
90s Decker.
She's wearing a Bethesda skirt. What's going on here?
90s comics.
Running her skirt. It exists in two places at once. Anyway, but no. I had fond memories of the Young Justice comic book series, and I adored the Young Justice series. I watched both, and I loved both. And I was so angry and so disappointed when it was canceled. And I actually put up a video of after I got the announcement that there was going to finally be there was actually going to be a season 3 of Young Justice on that was coming out, and it was going to be on Netflix, no less. And for those of you who don't know, it was just basically a video of my laptop being filmed while I was screaming and yelling yes in the background.
Yeah, basically how he reacted to Daria, it was just like that.
Over and over again.
Yes. But yeah, sadly, it will be delayed until next year. Which, you know what? If they want to take their time with it, I have no worries. Just as long as we know what it's coming out. Unlike the SWAT Cats Kickstarter that did happen a few years ago, and they were able to make enough money for a pitch, but nobody's picking it up. Not Cartoon Network, not Netflix, no other channel is picking it up. So right now, it's just stuck in limbo.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, unfortunately, that hasn't happened, but at least we know that Young Justice is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what else that's not happening right away, and it's going to be delayed for at least 2 years? Something that we did talk about in a previous live stream that is going to be coming out. So actually, we did discuss about this a few times before. So yes, Indiana Jones 5. We did discuss about this a while ago, and it's going to miss its 2020 release date. So it's not going to be coming out in 2020. Go ahead.
First, Joseph Stalin asks, Deco, why you not read my comments? Your icon scares me. I'm sorry. And then a $5 super chat from the Terror of Death saying, I'm still hoping that Connor Kent Superboy will get more Kryptonian powers.
That'd be cool. So yes, as mentioned before, we did talk about that there is going to be a Indiana Jones 5 after there was, discussions of they want to do a reboot of Indiana Jones with a possible female protagonist. But for now, the original that will be starring Harrison Ford, that may be the final one in the franchise that maybe people will not hate, it's going to be delayed. It's not going to be coming out in 2020. We don't know when it's going to be coming out. But it's due to, production issues and crew issues and stuff like that. So they're even talking about, there's going to be a new draft of the script. So, yeah, that doesn't exactly sound very good. There's some more information in the bottom. And, it says Disney, the studio that's going to be releasing it, declined to comment on it. The studio has yet to officially pull Indiana Jones 5 from the release character or to announce a new date. To be quite honest, I'm not really surprised that it's being delayed. I had a feeling that with all the talks that has been happening with this movie, as well as a possible reboot with a female protagonist, it's like... I think Disney already has a lot on their plate with Star Wars and Marvel and such, so I guess throwing Indiana Jones would have been too much.
I didn't really hate... Okay, the Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is not a great movie, but I didn't hate it. I don't have... Yeah, I know Decker does. I don't have high hopes for Indiana Jones 5, though. I'll just be quite honest.
Yeah, me neither. I don't.
Yeah.
But
I still think even if you accept that the fridge can block the nuclear radiation because it's got a little thin layer of lead in it, just a slamming on the ground would be enough to turn the man into jelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His body.
Man. All right. Well, we're almost at the 2-hour mark, so I guess we can cover just a couple of more things. So, what should we? We do actually have a few extra articles that I did put in just in case. So, how should we close this off? Should we close it off with a movie, new movie news, video game news, or TV news?
Oh wait. What about the YouTube stuff?
Oh. I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
I'm always interested in the way YouTube's fucking us.
And not in a fun way.
So, YouTube being YouTube as always, had decided that, we know what else we want to do? We want to get rid of your custom thumbnails because we know what's good for your videos.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're talking about that the high quality images that we take the time in creating, or that we pay somebody to do the thumbnail for us to make it look nice and unique compared to everything else. YouTube's like, nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to be running an experiment in which 3% of the viewers were going to see generated thumbnails.
3% or 0.3%?
Yes, 0.3%. So, 0.3% of viewers will see automated thumbnails rather than creators' custom-made images. They're saying, we are not removing the ability to create your custom thumbnail, but we hope to gain insights on auto-generated thumbnails for the future. Because of course you are.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. You're not individuals with your lives. You are our test subjects. We need data. We're Google.
Yes, there's going to be a YouTube copyright claiming robot making sure that everything is nice and legal. Making sure that any of thumbnails is not inappropriate for younger kids, or if that we're not discussing about anything that is, discussing about, how the earth is flat or anything like that, or anything inappropriate, showing off a dead body, whatever. But nope. We're going to make sure that the thumbnails that we choose are going to be good for everybody.
What I find interesting about this article is it goes on to say that there are people abusing the algorithms in place. And when it says that they were abusing the algorithms, there was a link. So I followed the link and I found an article talking about how people were putting thumbnails up of bestiality. And it's like, how is this abusing the algorithm? Does the algorithm see that happening and say, this seems like something nice to promote? And no, that's not what happens. It's just what these are the channels that evidently used to just show a thumbnail of straight up pornography, just regular vanilla pornography, and the content, the little algorithmic AI would look at it and say, hey, these are naked women here. You can't have naked women. Get that out of there. What's that? That's a woman in a bikini? Close enough. We're going to fucking take away your views and knock that down too until you can prove that woman in a bikini is relevant and not actually naked. But then for some reason the AI gets confused by some things. Like I had on the gaming channel, I do some for a while. I haven't recently, but I intend to get back to it. The Sakura series of games, which is pretty much just smut, but it's terrible smut. And I don't play it for laughs, but there's a lot of nudity involved. I censor it all, but I often use what I call the lewds as the thumbnail. I refer to it as a CG. I think lewd is a little more descriptive. But I've seen how the bot seems to get confused sometimes, because there's a lady just standing there in the thumbnail of the video I upload, and she has everything covered. Everything covered. But she's standing there in a bikini or has some hair over the breasts, so they're not showing anything. And instantly, that's no, can't have that. Had the other one for Sakura's Space, the one titled Science Has Gone Too Far. You might know it because it went semi-viral in Japan. And it is this most extreme freaking thing with the big bumpy dildo and the S&M leather straps all over, and just horrible. I have also a few censor little smiley faces on it. But it's some pretty extreme shit you see in there. The AI thought that was perfectly fine. The leather straps confused it. So that's probably what's up with the bestiality having it actually. It passes because it's like, oh, dog, this is like an animal video. It's like, no, it's not. And in the article it linked to is like, and oftentimes the videos had nothing to do with that at all. It's like, well, good, that's not allowed on the fucking site. Oy. Oh, my videos actually do have something to do with the thumbnails.
Yeah, pretty soon, if this keeps up, you're probably gonna have to do Let's Plays of Monkey Go Happy.
Oh, not again. Oh god.
And guess what? There are more games now.
I know. It's kept going now.
Oh yeah.
The monkey.
The monkey's happy, Decker.
Here it is, everybody. We have ninjas and elves and tanks,
That's
dragons,
Why?
and balloons.
Oh my
Sir?
God, there are so many monkey cohabits.
Leprechauns, Halloween, samurai, chocolate. There's a lot.
Easter.
Yes. For all the holidays.
All of them. Every
Every
last
single one of them. Even Arbor Day.
Hi, David S. Max
Uh,
Fire says, "Oh God, I hate those games."
yeah. Don't we all?
Oh.
All right.
But
Let's.
yeah, the way I see the YouTube thing going with the thumbnails is, I think they're just because some people do some shady shit. They'd like to see if they could maybe just get away with saying, "Hey, we, according to our data, it doesn't really affect anything, so we're just taking that off." It's one less thing for you to worry about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks a lot, YouTube. I mean, it's not like we have cognitive thoughts, but we can always rely on you to think for us.
Yeah.
All right. So now that Decker is satisfied with his YouTube talk, let's see if we can end things off in a better note. So I want to. Yes, I actually have one that I actually have two more. So let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So let's talk about some TV news real quick. So yeah, I'm sure we already talked briefly about Star Trek, about that. There's going to be a new Star Trek movie, and it's going to be directed by a female director. And there's also the talks of Star Trek Discovery. Right now, they just finished their first season, and they're going to be working on season 2. But there's a little bit of difficulties in it. They're getting a new showrunner and a new writer. So if you guys are disappointed in that, then don't worry, because everything's all about reboots and nostalgia. We're going to be having Patrick Stewart coming back as Jean Picard in a new Star Trek series.
Hooray!
Well,
Yay!
we could. I mean, the title says we are, but the body of the article says we could.
Yeah, that's true. So they're teasing us, even though that the freaking title says is set to reprise, which means that he is most likely going to do it. But no, it's like, no, he's just teasing it.
There's a possibility. He's there. There's things. There's a contract that says that he can work with certain people that are working in certain areas.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So rumors of Stewart's involvement in the new series has been circulating, with the actor himself also hinting at the prospect of his return. He hasn't seen Star Trek Discovery yet, but he may have good cause to look at it very soon, which for those who are wondering where it is in the timeline, it takes place before the original series. I think it takes place like right after Star Trek Enterprise, but before it takes place right after it, but before the original, I think. Or maybe it's
Brandon Kilgore says 2 girls 1 cup. Algorithm says, well, there's got a cup. Nothing wrong there.
But no, I think that Discovery actually is the originator. I think it takes place before Enterprise. Anyway, so the actor recounted the moment that he, Jackman, and director James Mangold watched the film together last week. They're referring to the X-Men movie, because the Logan, that's what it was, Logan. Because after Logan, he said that he was no longer going to be involved in any of more X-Men movies. He's officially retired from the character. But he says that he may want to come back as Jean Picard, which, even still to this day, it's been constantly disputed about who is the best Star Trek captain. Is it Picard or is it Kirk? But
Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise.
I remember that, by the way. So we're gonna have, if it is gonna happen, then we're probably gonna have 2 Star Trek series running at the same time, one with Picard and Star Trek Discovery. That's actually really interesting.
Picard in there, that'll just take all the wind out of their sails of Discovery. Everyone's just gonna watch Picard.
Yeah, I don't know where it's gonna take place in the franchise, because let's see. If it's after Generation, would it be coming out like maybe around the time of Deep Space Nine?
How are they going to build the captain's chair in sickbay? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I remember You remember that Star Trek? What you call it? Like, you remember like that Star Trek place that you got to visit in Las Vegas, where they had like the chair and they had like all the memorabilia of Star Trek. They had this like it was like a location, like a museum almost that was in Vegas. They shut it down a few years ago, but there's a hilarious Robot Chicken skit that actually does make fun of that, and that thinking that the Borgs, think that the actors are actually from the Enterprise. So, it's actually a really funny skit if you haven't checked it out. So it's kind of
Robot Chicken does Galaxy Quest with Star Trek actors.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much that. Yeah, at least the first the last few seconds. The first one is just talking about like how expensive it is, and somebody getting drunk and sitting on the captain's chair using it as a toilet, which apparently, according to an article I read, it actually did happen a lot of times, which is gross. And then they go into the whole Galaxy Quest thing, in which the Borg comes in and thinking that the Star Trek
people actually went into Vegas and sat and
they were like apparently they were like drunk, and they like sat down and they were like trying to pretend that they were the captain, and some guy like
pissing and shitting themselves.
Yes, that apparently that actually did happen a lot of times. So, yeah. Speaking of anyway, going back on topics.
Have the sign up. Don't touch. Trust us. It's not safe.
But no, seriously. I mean, it would be really interesting. It's like you have 2 Star Trek series going on, and it's like you choose one over the other. It's like with Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Xena Warrior Princess. It's like you have the spin-off and the original. Everybody's gonna watch the spin-off because it's infinitely better.
Yeah, and I got to admit, I did enjoy Xena way better than I did Hercules. So
yeah,
but possibly not for the same reasons.
Decker. It's funny because Lucy Lawless was at MegaCon, where I was at the last convention in Florida right before I moved. I couldn't meet her because the lines were ridiculously long.
Yeah. That's happened to me when I've gone to conventions. Like, there are a lot of people I would love to meet, but the lines are always so long that you basically just have to pick your favorites and hope you can get through before then. I'm sorry I butt in like that.
No, it's okay. It's fine. But and the woman who played as Gabriella, she was going to be there, but she couldn't make it, which that was a real shame.
The line was too long for her to get through.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have one more article, and let's end things off on a high note. So let's talk about the goodness of video games, because in this show we've always talked about like articles saying that video games cause violence and they're bad and what have you. So I want to end things off on a high note. So according to research, playing Nintendo as a child can make you smarter.
Well, shit. I played Sega.
Sorry, Decker. Okay. Research shows that for those who game have more gray matter in their brain, which is important for forming memories and strategic thinking. Kids who play games show improved social behavior and life satisfaction. And research say that this shows certain areas of the brain can be trained by playing video games. I mean, it doesn't say specifically about Nintendo, but right now, okay, now they're just showing it. Let's see. 2013, researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development came to the conclusion that gaming increases the mass of gray matter in areas important to spatial orientation, memory formation, strategic thinking, and fine motor skills. They let adults play Super Mario 64 for 30 minutes a day for the 2-month study using magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. The structures of the players' brains were measured and compared to that who did not play in the same period. The more fun the participants had playing, the more gray matter in the right hippocampus, the prefrontal cortex, and parts of the cerebellum increased. This proves that certain brain regions can be trained specifically through video games. So there's more in discussion about this, that it makes people more sociable and Nintendo players are successful and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a really interesting article if you are interested in reading it. As for what Sega does for you, that is yet to be determined.
Yeah.
Saying just as you play Nintendo as a kid, because I mean, I got this now, but I don't know if this is really going to help me make it all the way from 100,000 to 1 million subscribers.
I have no idea.
You want to improve your YouTube channel? Buy a Switch.
Alex Buckham says, "Put that Switch down."
No.
No. Let's see. I learned. Okay, Eddie Horta says, "I learned how to press buttons in a pattern and fast with games and a little math." Okay, Eddie Horter says Sega is the sports jock of game systems.
See, that's the problem. It's like I had the Genesis, but what did I play on it? Phantasy Star.
Yeah. And yes, we are excited about the Resident Evil 2 and Doom Eternal. We did discuss about that in our E3 podcast. Not podcast, live stream. If you're interested, in going to check that out. All right, that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else other than just some little things that we can probably save for another time. So, I think we can just wrap things up.
All right.
So what is I doing? Well, the channel recently hit 100,000 subscribers. Very recently, it was on the 2nd.
Congratulations, Decker.
I immediately was like, okay, silver play button, where is it? And then I found out that actually YouTube doesn't send you. You have to wait for YouTube to send you a notification that you're allowed to get a silver play button before you can use the code they send you in the notification on the redemption page to have them
and also don't forget about that in the article that we read in, I think in our 2nd episode of Live and Wire, that there might even be a chance that you might never even get one at all.
Yeah, there's that. They could just decide that they don't like me for one reason or another and just be like, no, you don't get one.
Yeah.
But also, I have to wait. They don't actually send you the notification until the month after you hit the milestone. And then they don't send. They just say it still takes them like 2 or 3 weeks to get around to it. And then after you send them after they send you the notification, you go to the redemption page yourself and put it in, and fill out all the information. And then 2 or 3 months, maybe if you're lucky, you can get it by then.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they changed the silver play button design now and the gold play button design. But
which we did discuss about in another episode of Live and Wired.
That's true.
I like the old designs better. That's the one I've been looking at for years. Like, I want that, and they're like, well, no matter what, you're not getting it. Like,
nope, you're not going to get it. No.
But yeah, lots of things. I've still got the Halloween 2 review coming up. That's taken way too long. It's just been a hell of a week. And yeah, that's like fucking hell. That's like, I really, really, really don't want this summer special to stretch out further than summer. I would need to catch up on things in general. And I'm still like, I haven't even given Creepy the time of day for the damn Tokuhiro riffs yet. He's called me up. He's like, Decker, we need to get this done, you bastard. And I'm like, yeah, we do. Just not today.
Yeah, that still hasn't happened.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of stuff needs to be done. But yeah, Summer of Halloween is technically a go.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And we also have to give, applause for Creepy because he hit a milestone as well. He has recently hit 8,000 subscribers.
That happened. Not as big as 100,000, but still 8,000 subs. There was a time I didn't think I'd get this far. So if anyone listening, if you've subscribed, thank you very much.
Yeah, I remember when my channel was at around 8,000. That was when we were starting to put down plans for Gamerathon 3.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy time. Crazy.
Yeah. I don't have any milestones to celebrate. I still have 3,900. I only need 100 more to reach 4,000. So maybe, who knows, maybe in the next couple of months, maybe I'll actually do a celebration of my milestone. Who knows? I don't know.
I hope so. Best of luck to you.
Everyone's saying congrats, Creepy. Silver play button is pewter and nickel plated now. God damn it.
Well, I mean, it's like if it's like that interesting fact about like the Olympic gold medal. It's like, wait, 95% of the gold medal's made of silver? What? So, yeah.
Wait, if they're gonna not make it out of gold, why make it out of silver? They could go a lot cheaper than that.
I don't know. Anyway, so Creepy, what have you got going on?
Well, I have the new YouTube channel, Midnight Wank Theater. I have new gem review coming up, but
Yay.
I do have something interesting that's happening in August. So keep an eye on the channel for next month because there will be a very special guest star.
I know who it is, and I'm looking forward to it.
I have
awesome.
no idea who it is.
How did you? Did I tell you?
Okay. This particular person, if you did watch you remember the project that you helped do the voiceover for?
Right.
He was in there, and he was just like, we were briefly talking, and so he was like casually bringing it up.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything more than that.
Yeah, but oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
As for me, after 2 years of sitting on Springboard Video, I finally got my from pilot to final product of the Fairly Odd Parents up that didn't get struck down by copyright claims from Viacom. So yay, you can finally go watch it. I did that video 2 years ago. But because of the move, I haven't had the chance to write any scripts. I have been posting up podcasts consistently. Last week I did the Fully Cooley one. It's already up. And a few weeks ago I had I had an interview with Mike Reese, who was a former Simpsons writer, and he has a new book coming out that's already out called Springfield Confidential, if you're interested in learning more about that. And I do have another guest coming up for my podcast. I'm not going to say who it is. And
Awesome.
I may be working on a video script, but I'm still kind of working on some things. So that's all I have.
Zero Cool 666 says Decker's play button will now be wood and painted silver. Now, I'm just imagining now Google's just going to send me a bag of Hershey's Kisses.
Right.
Or maybe they'll send you a wristband and a condom.
Oh, God. Congrats on your 100,000.
Here's a wristband and a condom. I don't have a condom, but here's a wristband. Here you
Creepy.
go.
Got a condom?
No comment.
I expect this of you. I just.
Okay.
Well, at least you expect me to be safe.
I think we're done here.
So yes, this has been Live and Wired, episode 15. What is going on? And I don't think we ever actually figured that out.
Right.
I don't think we ever will.
But thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shado.
I've been the long-haired creepy guy.
And I've been Patricia.
And remember, fucking anything can make a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Anything.